The Roman Empire is one of the most famous societies in world history. Rome was known for its advanced governmental systems as well as making excellent architectural and artistic strides. At its height in 117 AD, the Roman Empire controlled all of the territory surrounding the Mediterranean Sea and expanded through parts of the Middle East and large areas in Western Europe.
As the years went on, the Roman Empire's influence and presence over different territories changed, but was still stable and expansive into the late 300s and early 400s. You may be wondering how it's possible that the epicenter of such a mighty empire was sacked.
Well, tensions began to arise between the Romans and barbarian groups such as the Visigoths and the Huns. These barbarian groups began to move through and settle on land that belonged to the Roman Empire, which caused these societies to engage in continuous conflict that slowly builded over decades.
The Visigoths especially were a problem for the Roman Empire, as they engaged in repeated attacks against Rome that lasted through the late 300s and early 400s. There was a peace treaty between them under Emperor Theodosius I, but it did not last long.
Theodosius I was the emperor of the Roman Empire from 379 to 395, and Alaric was the first king of the Visigoths, who ruled from 395 to 410. Before Alaric became king, Theodosius created a peace treaty between the two groups, in which Visigoths were allowed to remain on Roman land in exchange for military support. However, many Visigoths felt cheated by the Roman military, as they were the ones often placed on the front lines. These underlying tensions contributed to the eventual dissolution of the treaty with the death of Theodosius I. When his son Honorius was crowned emperor of the Western Roman Empire in 395, the resentment and anger held by Visigoths toward the Romans ignited new conflict as Alaric was put into power.
Conflicts between Romans and Visigoths only rose, and attacks on Rome brought the pressure to a breaking point. On August 24th of 410, King Alaric and his forces entered Rome and attacked for 3 days. The destruction of Roman land, structures, and objects continued for days as the Visigoths sacked the city. Romans during the sack took sacred and religious vessels and objects to churches in order to try and protect their belongings from the Visigothic invasion.
In one of the most famous modern depictions of the 410 sack of Rome, Visigoths are shown helping each other tear down a Roman statue as they continue to sack the city. The reactions to the invasion among contemporaries and other societies were mixed. Some were stunned by the successful attack on Rome, while many were not. One of the most famous contemporaries from this era was a man named Saint Jerome. Saint Jerome was a priest, theologian, and historian who lived in the 4th to 5th centuries. He is well known for translating biblical texts and having written commentary on historical events, with one of them being the sack of Rome. His description about the sack was in letter 127 to Principia, stating that the city which had taken the whole world was itself taken. This powerful quote from St. Jerome shows the shock that many contemporaries at the time felt when news of the sack came. Tensions between Romans and Visigoths did not go away after the sack of Rome in 410, and the western half of the Roman Empire was losing its ability to effectively rule over its people.
The Visigoths' famous siege of Rome contributed to the downfall of power that the Romans experienced, and by 476, the emperor of the Western Roman Empire, Romulus Augustus, was deposed. This marked an end of the influence and power of the Western Roman Empire, which had already started to experience a decline in terms of material wealth, building materials, and economic integrity. The Visigothic attack did nothing to improve Roman conditions and further added to its decline.